Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Dropping Dimes Podcast Daily Dime series. This is now episode 22. And for today's episode, we have, of course, the Brooklyn Nets versus the New York Knicks and all the games today. And of course, we still have our quick dimer thoughts, and we will be talking about the big trade today as the beer James Harden is now with the Brooklyn Nets. And we also have a special guest. Yes, sir, my former student and a guy with such a high basketball IQ, Jonas De Guzman. And of course, we still have the top plays of the night. Yes, sir, this is looking like a Brooklyn episode. The Dropping Dimes podcast starts right about now. Yes, sir. So welcome back again to the Dropping Dimes Podcast Daily Dime series. Again, if you love basketball, if you love the NBA, and you want to be updated, then this is the channel for you. So what are you waiting for? Click on the subscribe button and hit on the notification bell so that you can follow all the episodes of the Dropping Dimes Podcast. Yes, sir. Feel free to share the video as well, leave a comment, and smash on the like button. Let's kick it off with this one. So again, yes, this is a very special episode 22. It's looking more like a Brooklyn Nets episode. This is a loaded episode. We have a guest for today, my former student, Jonas De Guzman. Really had a blast with him, so he will be sharing his insights on the Brooklyn Nets. Again, for those who want to follow us, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and Anchor and Spotify as well. So let's kick off the episode with the travel back in time. Yeah, so to follow the theme, yes, sir. Who showed up? James Harden, who's now with the Brooklyn Nets. January 14, 2019, the beer James Harden dropped 57 big buckets against the Memphis Grizzlies in a 112-94 win. So that is it for our travel back in dime. Let's now proceed to our spin and dime segment. Okay, so for our spin and dime segment, again, this is in collaboration with Sports Daily News. All of them on Instagram at sports_daily news_. So we have the following games. Mavs versus Hornets. Mavericks winning 104-93. Bucks winning against the Pistons 110-101. As Giannis had a really big game. And then the Blazers winning against the Kings 132-126. We also have the Clippers escaping the Pelicans 111-106. And then we also have, how about the Grizzlies winning against the Timberwolves? Grizzlies finding a way to win, or finding ways to win, even if they are very much undermanned. And then the Lakers continue to dominate the league, 128-99 win over the Oklahoma City Thunder. And of course, the story of the night, the Brooklyn Nets, the talk of the town, winning against the New York Knicks, 116-109. Let's now proceed to our first featured game. Okay, so for the first featured game, the story of the night was the dominance again of KD. Yes, sir. Oh my goodness, Kevin Durant looking like he never got injured. The Nets, yes, they lost some players here because of the trade, but they still won against the Knicks, 116-109. KD had 26, 3 and 6. Joe Harris had 15, 2 and 3, and Bruce Brown had 15 points, 14 boards, and 2 dimes. Julius Randle continues to ball with 30 points, 7 boards, and 5 dimes. The rookie Emmanuel quickly had a good game again as he had 19 points, 2 boards and 3 dimes, while RJ Barrett had 20 points, 5 boards, and 3 dimes. Let's now proceed to the second game. So here's the second featured game. It was between the Dallas Mavericks and the Charlotte Hornets. Look at the passing, and look who's back! Kristaps Porzingis. Oh my goodness, the smile says it all for the unicorn. He's back. Okay, I'm sure my main man or my bro Gregory Villanueva will be very happy. So let's proceed now to the stats. Mavericks winning 104-93. Luka Magic had 34, 13, and 9, making it look too easy. Tim Hardaway Jr. with 18, 2, and 3, and Kristaps, the unicorn Porzingis, with 16, 4, and 0. The Hornets, by just looking at the stats, oh my goodness. Hayward, 16, 4, and 1. LaMelo, oh, not so mellow. Very mellow today. 4, 7, and 5. And my man, Sky Miles Bridges, 4, 6, and 5. When you see those numbers, you know they probably lost. Okay, let's proceed to game 3, or to the third featured game. It's between the Lakers and the Thunder, and AD having himself a game, or had himself a game too easy for AD. This is just too easy for him. So let's now go to the stats. Oh my goodness, 128-99. LeBron had his typical 26, 6, and 7. AD, well, very quiet, 18, 7, and 1, but just enough because Shooter also had 14, 5, and 5. As the Thunder got blown out, 128-99 for the Thunder. It was only Shea Gilgeous Alexander with 17, 2, and 1. Isaiah Roby had 11, 9, and 4. And George Hill, 10, 2, and 2. Let's go to the last feature game for this episode. And that is against the Bucks and the Pistons. And who do we have? Giannis, the reigning 2-time MVP. Oh my God. Look at everyone. Like, okay, let's just get out of the way. So now, Giannis and the Bucks winning against the Pistons, 110-101. Giannis, 22, 10, and 10. Triple-double night. Drew Holiday, 21, 6, and 5. And Chris Middleton, 12, 2, and 6. Well, for the Pistons, Jeremy Grant has really emerged for them here after struggling all preseason long, but has really had a great season so far. 22, 4, and 1. Blake Griffin, 12, 7, and 6. And Josh Jackson, 11, 1, and 3. So that is it, rather, for the Spin and Dime segment. And thank you again to Sports Daily News for providing us with all the stats and the updates. So we'll see you again on the next episode when it comes to the Spin and Dime segment. Let's now go to the next one, the Quick Dimer Thoughts. Yes, this is how we dime. And for today's episode, we have a special guest, none other than my former student, super high basketball IQ. Very proud of this kid. He's really come a long way. Let's all welcome Mr. Jonas De Guzman. Yes, sir. So welcome back to the Daily Dime series. And for today, we have a special guest for our Quick Dimer Thoughts. Let's all give it up for my former student, whose basketball IQ is off the charts. I'll give it up for Jonas De Guzman.
Hi, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Yes,
And
sir.
special episode.
Yes, so we're very happy to also have you here, Jonas. One of the, you're actually the first guest, no? Maliban kay MA Wizard and kay CR
Yes.
Machine. So very excited to have this. So of course, today, Jonas will be sharing his insights with us regarding the most talked about team nowadays, the Brooklyn Nets. Okay, the Brooklyn.
Oh my God.
Okay, so as we all know, based from our episode a while ago, our crunch time episode, James Harden has already been traded to the Nets. What a massive fall that was, because the Rockets practically got Oladipo, Exum, Kuruc, 3 Brooklyn first rounders, 1 Milwaukee first round pick,
Oh my goodness.
Brooklyn first round swaps for James Harden. And then Karis LeVert went to the Pacers, and also a
Yeah.
second round pick. And the Cavs got Jarrett Allen and Torian Prince. So obviously the Nets gave up a
Too
lot.
much.
Yeah.
I think
Okay,
that's too much. Yep.
Okay, so what can you say about that deal, Jonas?
I think, well, the Nets right now, I think they want to win now, at least for the next 2 to 3 years. I think they want to contend now. I think the age of Harden and Durant, they're, I think, in the end of their primes. Harden, well, we saw what happened to him this year. The first 9 games, I think he really wanted out. And his preferred destination, obviously, was the Nets. He wanted to rejoin with Durant. I don't know about Kyrie yet. We all know the commotion that's happening with Kyrie. But I think the Rockets won, and the Pacers, I think, won that trade.
How about
I
the
think-
Cavs?
I think the Cavs are still rebuilding. I think it's Jarrett Allen is a good piece to have as a backup for Andre Drummond, obviously, is the starting center. Torian Prince, I think, can be a piece moving forward. I think they're building around Sexton and Garland, so we'll see if they can make adjustments. But I think the Rockets, that massive haul of first-round picks, 8 first-round picks,
Yes.
and they got Victor Oladipo and Exum. So I think that's a good deal for them. Exum will, well, provide backup for John Wall. Oladipo obviously will start. When you have Christian Wood, DeMarcus Cousins, well, that's a good team out west. I think they can make noise in the playoffs.
Yes, sir. I totally agree with Jonas there. But I do have a question though. Let's say when it comes to James Harden, because he's gonna be going to the Nets. He's already 31. You mentioned
Yeah, I think
about
like that.
you mentioned about they're moving towards the end of their primes. KD coming off the Achilles injury. Kyrie is, I don't know where he is. So if that's the case, do you think this was really, even though this was a win now situation, was it really worth it to give up the future of the franchise for this former MVP?
It's tough to say now, I think. On paper, the team looks good offensively. I think they have the offensive power to make some noise and be a title contender. But I think giving up too much first-round pick, I think, 8 first-round picks for Harden,
Yes.
and the Rockets got all of them. I don't know about it. I think they made same moves before with Garnett and Pierce. They traded for Garnett and Pierce, and they gave up a lot of picks then. And they, well, for several years, they didn't contend. They were always out of the playoffs. So for now, I think on paper, they look good. We'll see when on the court how they can perform. I think the problem is defensively, how they can defend. They're not a good defensive team on
And they
paper.
lost Allen. They lost Jarrett Allen.
He's a good rim protector. Yeah.
Yeah, they lost that guy right now. Who's gonna start? DeAndre Jordan? Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, the big man. Yeah, their big man is very thin. Oh my. Yes.
They have this young guy though, Nick Claxton. I don't know, but I don't think he's ready though.
Yeah, I think he's still young. He's still
not
developing.
ready.
Yeah.
Not
I think
ready.
Jarrett Allen is a huge loss. Oh, and LeVert too. I think he's a huge
Yeah,
loss. for the
LeVert.
Nets.
Because they
Since-
already lost Dinwiddie, right?
Yeah, Dinwiddie's injured. I think the Pacers got stronger. I think since Oladipo is still injured, still coming back. I think the Pacers look good. I think they are a dark horse team in the playoff in the East. I think they can make, I think, semis. Well, we see the Celtics, the Bucks, the Sixers as the top heavy teams out there. I think the Pacers can make noise so far. Domantas Sabonis, Malcolm Brogdon, Yadin LeVert, and Miles Turner even being there.
Yes,
I think they look good. Yeah.
They have a really nice young core right there. But I also actually was very high on the Cavs. I
Oh
think
yes.
they got really, for the fact that they didn't really give up a lot. They just gave up Dante Exum and a few picks there, but then they got Jared Allen and Torian Prince, who you mentioned as possible pieces as well moving forward.
I think
Okay.
in 2 to 3 years, I think when Darius Garland, I think Colin Sexton, those two guys can really make good improvements around their game, and hopefully the Cavs can go back to playoff contention as
Yes,
years go on.
I'm just worried though. I don't know what your thoughts on this are, but Cedi Osman plays the same position as Torian Prince. Ike Okoro plays the same position as well. I don't know if it will impede the development of Okoro.
Oh yeah,
When Chetty started playing more, it really affected Okoro, and now you add the Torian Prince. So I don't know how that's gonna work. Are they gonna go small, which is kind of weird because they have bigs, right?
yeah, yes. I think the rotation there will be tricky for the coach. We'll see. I think they have a good record now. Well, sub 500 team to start the season, but we'll see how they can develop. I think they can improve more, and building around those two guys, which I mentioned, Sexton and Garland. I think they can move towards a positive destination, like the playoffs, as I mentioned.
Okay, so thank you for those insights, Jonas. Let's now proceed to the next topic. Still related, of course, with the Nets. This has become a Brooklyn Nets episode. In fact,
Yes.
Jonas is actually even wearing his Brooklyn Nets shirt. You know what I mean? So
This is only random.
episode 22 has become such a Brooklyn Nets episode. Anyway, let's go to the next one. Of course, this was the topic yesterday before the big deal. Kyrie Irving, what's up? Stephen A. Smith said if Kyrie is just going to be like this, you better just retire from the game
I
of
watched that,
basketball. Yeah.
I watched that earlier.
So do you agree with Stephen A? And do you think it really affected the trade value of Kyrie Irving? That's the reason why they had to give up so much, because no one was really interested with Kyrie.
Well, I saw an article, I think 3 years ago. Kyrie wanted to retire early, like at the age of 29, 30. He was contemplating it. I think your obligation is to play, and
Yeah, especially
You
when
have-
when you're getting paid 174 million.
yeah, you just signed
you
the long
gotta play.
contract
You
with
gotta play, man. If you're like you have a major obligation, 174 million.
I think
At that.
it's a wait, what do you call it? I think Durant, Steve Nash, those guys. I feel bad for them in a way because Durant went there for Kyrie. One of the reasons is for
Yeah.
Kyrie. I think they can. When I watched their first game, they were so dominant against the Warriors, even
Yeah.
against the Celtics. Well, if his heart is not in the right place for basketball, I think he should retire. He should think about it. If he still wants to play, and the money, I think the money is an important factor also. He
Yeah.
signed a long contract for them, so I don't know what his mind is thinking right now.
Yeah, and he's always talking about it. It's more than the
game,
basketball
yeah.
stuff, right? There's something more than the game, and he's willing to give up everything for it. But I think if he's gonna keep on saying that, he better show it, right? Stop saying it. If you want to really prove to people that you ought to be doing something else, then you might as well just do something else, right?
Yeah, I think the media and us, we're not really talking about Kyrie as a person. I think he's a good person. He does a lot for the community. But as a basketball player, it's
And
your
as a
job to play. Yeah.
As
Your
a
job to play.
professional, for crying out loud, right? You were my student way back.
Yes,
That was
sir.
2012, I think. And,
Yes, yes.
and you know how it was, right? Like even when we were sick, we were still there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, even
Right.
even if there was couldn't talk anymore, but you still had to be there, right? Because
Yeah,
that's what
it
it
was
means.
it was your job. Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually more than just a job. It's your vocation, it's your profession.
Vocation,
So
yes.
there's more to it, and so it's obvious that Kyrie's heart probably isn't there anymore in terms of wanting to play basketball. Maybe he wants to do something else, and I feel bad. I feel bad for the Nets. I don't even know if this big three is something that we will see, honestly.
Yeah,
because of
I
the
don't know. Yeah.
because of the way Kyrie is right now. He's out of sorts. We're all talking about the big three, but I don't know about Kyrie though. Okay, so
Yeah.
thank you for those insights, Jonas. Now let's go to the big question. So will the Nets, because of this so-called deal, are they now the championship favorite?
Well, honestly, for me, I don't know. I want to see like 5 to 10 games going forward. Obviously, their offense is their firepower is insane. You have two of arguably top 5 scorers of all time in Durant and
Yes,
Harden.
sir.
You have
And
a shoot-
Kyrie as well, probably the
Kyrie probably
best
if he
ball
comes in.
handler and
in the game,
finisher,
yeah.
ever.
And you have Joe Harris is a good 3-point shooter. I think Levert and Allen leaving the team is a huge loss. Well, I think it's a loss, but moving forward, I think their defense is the key. I think the defense of Nets right now, even now, without Harden, is subpar compared to the elites of the. Even in the East, you have the Bucks, who's a good defensive team. The 76ers, you have Embiid, you have Simmons. The Pacers, dark horse, as I mentioned. The Celtics, you have Tatum and Brown. So I think the Nets can make the Eastern Conference. That's my prediction. I think they can make the Eastern Conference Finals. But it will go down to their defense. Because their offense, I think there's no question. Their offense is one of the best already on paper. You have the two great scorers. Well, Harden leading the league the last 3 years. Obviously, Durant leading the league for 4 seasons. So we'll see moving forward what they can do and what they bring to the table.
Okay. So I think when we're like talking about it, it slipped into my mind, especially because of their Suns connection, that they're actually looking like the Phoenix Suns. So
the 2000s Phoenix Suns,
until the 2010 Suns, they're really looking like it. Like this team doesn't play defense, but they're incredibly solid offensively.
I think
they don't have a big, just like the Suns. Like, so they really look like the Phoenix Suns of old.
I think they will play fast-paced as well, so it will be a lot of up and down when you play the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah,
their best defense is their offense. I suppose. I think that's I think that's what they want to do here. And
another problem I think for them is the bigs. Yeah, DeAndre Jordan, I think is past his prime. I don't know. So the Claxton kid, I think he's still developing. The Jarrett Allen loss for me is a loss for them. Yeah.
Even though they were lucky that they didn't have to give up Joe Harris, though.
I was surprised actually that Kyrie wasn't involved in the trade. I was thinking about it last night. I think it would be a Kyrie to Harden swap.
Yeah.
Well, a little first round picks here and there. I think when I saw the whole trade and the whole package, what the Rockets got, I mean, it's a little bit insane.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Like it was like the biggest haul in history. It's like even bigger than the AD haul, and they were like asking for it and got even more.
Let me ask you, sir. Do you think the Rockets can make noise in the West?
Oh, definitely. As long as Boogie can keep his head focused. Like see when he's focused, he gets a double-double, right? And then the only reason why I'm worried about the Rockets is that their best players came off major injuries, right? Like Oladipo, John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, and when your 3 best players coming off career-threatening injuries, it's always worrisome because you cannot trust their durability anymore. One mistake and they're done, right? I mean, we're not talking about minor injuries here. We're talking about Achilles injuries.
Oh yeah,
So
John Wall was gone for more than a year because of that.
It's not something I think that's the reason why it's hard to I like the Rockets now because of the addition of Oladipo as well. And of course, Vic will be able to focus in on what he has to do, unlike with Harden. But again, it's hard to put your money on players who might just get injured one day and they're done for the season, right? So that's my only problem with Rockets. And then of course they're also playing in the West. That's another
Oh, yeah.
thing. They're also playing in the West.
Although I felt bad for John Wall, I think yesterday when that Harden exit interview, it was, I think Harden when he said that, I think he was handling it wrong, and for him to say that and just walk out like that, I think it was a bad lasting image for the Rockets and their fans. Yeah. So,
but you know what, Jonas? You know, historically speaking, all of these players asking for a trade, etc. It never really ended well. You know, it always ended badly. There's really rarely a situation wherein the guy asked for the trade and it paid off, and everyone was happy. It really doesn't happen because, whereas if you're part of that fan base, you have that inclination towards that player, and then all of a sudden you feel betrayed when that player wants out.
But I think also now in this era, I think the players have more power to speak for themselves, to where destinations they can go to, what they want to do in basketball. I think the owners may be having a hard time on how to deal with these kind of players, but it is what it is now. So
so that's it. Okay, so again, many thanks to our guest for today, and we hope to have him again next time here on the Dropping Dimes podcast.
Thank you, sir.
J.I. Dimes. Okay. So again, keep safe, Jonas, and wishing you all the best in your journey.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all your insights. Many thanks. Jonas, let's all give him again the round of applause. Jonas De Guzman. It's always very nice to reconnect with, I saw this kid when he was like 12.
Oh, yeah.
He was like my student when he was 12. So to see
second
him,
year high school.
To see him mature now. See him mature now into a young man, it's really something to be proud of. Okay, so again, thank you, Jonas De Guzman.
Thank you, sir. More power in your podcast, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we are here. Thank you, Jonas. Thank you for that wonderful interview. We're always hoping. Thank you for spending time, and of course, we're looking forward to having you again as our guest, our special guest here at the Dropping Dimes podcast. We now go to the top plays of the night. Of course, the favorite segment, my favorite segment, and Patrick Valt's favorite segment as well. Yes, sir, to Patrick Valt. Now let's go to number 5. At number 5, we have Giannis. Oh, Defensive Player of the Year. That's the reason why. No, sir, when it comes to that layup. Get that weak stuff out of here. Let's now go to number 4. At number 4, we have this hustle play from the Detroit Pistons. Look at that. Hustling all the way. And then Jeremy Grant finishing it off. Yes, sir. Working hard. But unfortunately, they lost to the Bucks. Let's now go to number 3. At number 3, we have this play. Blocked. Okay, Tyus Jones getting blocked by Okogie. And then Okogie passing it on to D'Angelo Russell. Great effort by Josh Okogie, blocking the shot, getting the pass, and then assisting it to D'Angelo Russell. Now go to number 2. At number 2, we have, oh my goodness, King James doing this in year 18. Oh my goodness. It's 2021 and he is still doing this dunk as if it's just 2003. What a smack by King James. Let's now go to number 1. And at number 1, we have This pass, Kevin to DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre making a statement that he deserves to be the starting center of this Brooklyn Nets team. What a nice feed by KD, and DeAndre looking like prime DeAndre there with a finish. And those are the top plays of the night. Let's now go to the shout outs. Okay, so for the shout outs, again, many thanks to the following. Thank you to Gabby's, and of course, oh yes, sir, the D Book of USHS. Happy birthday, Sylvester Del Rosario. Yes, sir. Of course, thank you also to Jonas for guesting today. Sylvester, happy birthday. Thank you to Snuggle Moments PH. The snuggle is real. Thank you also to Double Dose for the best handcrafted cookies. Double Dose is the way. Order now. My goodness, napakasarap. Even though medyo bawal. Pero sige, gift mo. Of course, for the gifts, anything pang regalo during special occasions, gift mo is the way. And of course, for the shirts, yo and yes to love and inspire, such as yung Adulting Wars. Is it a yes or a yo? Yeah, yung mga shirts na yan. And then of course, we have Esquina, Cebu and Lex, for all the bellylicious lechon happens. And then of course, T-shirt Printing Manila, if you have your own designs and you want to have them, have your own shirts for them, Bago T-shirt Printing Manila is the way. To also have bags. And of course, if you're looking for like reflection or something to, think about, Paradigm Shift is the way by Sir Mark Anthony Lim. And of course, Gabby's of Miss Diane Vallar is your one-stop shop. Yes, sir. Let's now proceed to this one. And again, happy birthday, Sylvester Del Rosario, aka D-Book ng UESHS. Okay, so let's go to this one. So again, or I even ask you to do so, if you really love basketball, if you're a purist and you want to be updated and you're into the NBA, then this is definitely the channel for you, the Dropping Dimes podcast by J.I. Dime. So we have it all when it comes to your updates. We also have a new series called the Crunch Dime series. Yes, sir. The pilot episode already was launched today. When the James Harden deal was announced. So I hope you can also check that out. So again, if you're that kind of person, you're into basketball, then this is a channel for you. Please subscribe and hit on the notification bell so that you can follow all the episodes of the Dropping Dance podcast. Feel free to leave a comment, smash on the like button, and share the video as well. So that is it for episode 22 of the Daily Dime series. Again, many, many thanks to Jonas De Guzman for guesting. It was such a fun conversation. And to the Brooklyn Nets, good luck. Good luck to you guys. Good luck to Steve Nash. I hope the hair stays, man. I hope your hair will still be there, right? Yeah. So anyway, that is it for today's episode. This is J.I. Dimes saying, Brooklyn Nets, yes, offensively, on paper, you look good. Defensively, not so much. Prove us wrong. Keep safe, everyone.